The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is DonivanG, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanG, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we're not on it, we're about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 400 videos on our channel. Do you want to learn real estate? We got that. Do you want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr. Sabi? We got that. Travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at DonivanG, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. Okay? The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we're into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 3, page 121. Okay, this podcast has 4 different segments. We have the life update, episode playback, Donovan's questions, and the topic of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is July 12th. It's a Tuesday. 5:37 p.m. A little late, but still on Tuesday, so that's in the right direction. For all the people that are new to the podcast, all right, before we start off any of the topics or any of the segments or anything like that, we start off with a screen time check, okay? And the reason why I do a screen time check, okay? I want to be a billionaire. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 10. So I always say, if I am not taking advantage of my phone, then my phone is taking advantage of me. So let's see who won the war or the battle last week. I don't know. I feel like I did better last week. I feel like I might have. No. Your screen time be crazy. You be on the phone for crazy amounts of time. All right. So, okay. All right. Last week was better. Okay. So last week, I was on my phone for an average of 8 hours and 57 minutes per day. Okay. Now, the week before that, it was 9 hours and 2 minutes. Okay. So we going in the right direction. The day I used my phone the most was on Friday when we went to Philadelphia. So that was 12 hours and 2 minutes. For the whole week, my most used app was YouTube, as y'all probably could already guessed, which was for 24 hours and 45 minutes, which is about, honestly, no, 3 hours. Yeah, about 3 hours a day, a little over 3 hours a day. Then it was Instagram for 11 hours, and then it was Google Maps for 5. So, I mean, I feel like that's not too crazy. My pickups were higher than normal, though, for 110 per day, and my first used app after pickup was YouTube. I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't like ADT, because I'd be on there like it's crack, staring at the house like in the Ring app, like, damn, hope nobody broke into the house. But last night, bro, I thought, man, listen, yeah. All right, so baby girl, what do you have for your screen time this week?
My average is up from last week.
Of course. Listen. You have an addiction.
7 hours and
7 hours. Damn, Melissa.
Right.
Gotta get more like me.
So crazy, like.
It's that damn TikTok. That tactic. What y'all could be doing now? Crazy.
So my most used app was Instagram at 10 hours and 17 minutes. Then my second most used app was Google Maps for 10 hours. And then TikTok for 7 hours. So it seems like for 2.5 hours every day, I'm on social media. And then I had 136 pickups. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
See this?
Number 4 is Webtoon. At 5 hours and 40 minutes.
I wonder if Sarah reads webtoons. I feel like she would. If she reads webtoons.
Typically, 2 out of my top 3 are social media apps, and then everything else like regular phone apps, like phone messages, stuff like that. So I'm kind of surprised that Webtoon is up there at number 4 this week. Yeah.
All right, bruh. This week has been a crazy week. I'm talking about, like, I was excited for this podcast just because this week was so crazy. And I honestly don't even know where to start with for the week, but it probably will be in the title. I have a it's a video recording of me talking to my contractor. I'm gonna put at the end of the video. It's probably like 30 minutes long to maybe like 35. I'm not sure.
I feel like you should put in this own video.
Nah, I'm not doing that. This is only for the people who are down with the Bamboo Project. They'll know. They're gonna be like, oh shit, like if you listen to the podcast, they'll know. Let's see. Because what's gonna happen is the people that don't rock with the podcast, they're gonna be like, oh, it look mad long. Why I say it's so long? People that rock with it are gonna be like, you have a video with the contractor? Oh, I gotta listen to this. That's why I'm like, the real ones be down. Right. So the video that I have with the contractor is 36 minutes long, and it'll be at the end of the podcast. So you can either go listen to that and come back, or you listen to the podcast and then listen to that. It's up to you, however you want to do it. I guess I'll give you my take on it. We're gonna start with the house update. That's gonna be the first thing we do over this crazy entire week. So one thing I always say too about the podcast, right, is like, I feel like each day be so crazy, and then I want to say something on the podcast about it, but then the next day it changes to something else. So, or like the problem gets solved or something like that. So pretty much the house again is super close to being done. Like super duper extra closer than it's been ever, right? And by this point I really mean, like, we could probably stage it right now. It just wouldn't be a clean stage. Like, you could live in the house right now. Like, you could, if you were a rental, like you were a renter, you would move into the house right now and be like, you know what? If I get like a discount on my rent price, I'm moving right now. Like, that's how ready it is to move in. Like, so I'm gonna give you an update of what we finally have got completed over the last week. We have the HVAC has been installed. All right, I know y'all know how expensive that was. We got it installed because of the phone call that will be at the end of this podcast. So that is kind of how we ended up getting that installed. The electric panel, bruh, like I said, I'm telling you, it be something new all the time. Electric panel is finished and installed. Concrete in the back is finished and installed. The rain leader for the side of the house is finished and installed. The bathroom lights come on. The exposed brick has been done. The fridge is in the house. The microwave is in the house. The range is in the house. The faucet is on top of the sink in the kitchen. The counters are oiled. What else? The dehumidifier's in the basement. Okay. Outlet covers are put in the house. The garbage disposal has been put in. This all happened from last week to this week to today. Okay. And today is Tuesday, right? So that's what's been going on for the whole week in terms of the house, in terms of what's actually getting done. So at this point, what's left of the house, in my opinion, is just cleanup. And by cleanup, I mean, like, maybe spraying the toilets, cleaning the toilets from whatever type of dust or dirt is in the house that kind of got on there. Same thing with the tub, sweeping the floor, to getting the paint off the floor, that kind of thing, right? Before today, the plan was for me, Melissa, my mom, my sister, and the family friend who's a contractor to go to the house and finish the house ourselves. That was a plan from last week, because to me, I'm like, the house should be finished. Like, I don't see a reason why the house should not be finished yet. We were gonna go and do probably the majority of the things I just named that were finished. So we were gonna do the cleanup in the backyard, which is a bunch of dirt and cement. I'll put a picture of that or video up of that. We were gonna do the cleaning. So here's one of the problems we ran into during the week, right? One of the problems was that the exposed brick, I guess I had to get, this is my assumption of what it's called, I think it's polyurethane, was put on the exposed brick to make it like waterproof or whatever. It kind of changed the color of it a little bit, made it darker. I'm not a fan of it that much, but you know, whatever. The guy who installed that, he did not use painter's tape when he put up this plastic around the wall, right? Like, so let's say he was working on the wall, he would put up a plastic behind him. I guess he was trying to prevent whatever material or substance he was using on the wall from getting around the rest of the house. I can't necessarily say he succeeded, because that substance is in the bathroom on the first floor on the toilet and somewhat on the counter, right? For the plastic that he used, he had the tape or the plastic on the wall with tape, but it wasn't painter's tape. So now he peeled off the paint from the ceiling. So that has to be repainted, right? Not a lot, but it's just kind of one of those, if you were a home buyer, you would notice like, hey, why is there paint not on this part of the wall, right? Also, now there's a discoloration on the ceiling between where the paint was at and then also where the plastic wasn't. So if you look on the ceiling, I'll put a picture up of that too. You could see like it's darker on one side and lighter on the other. It's kind of problematic. Also on the door, some of that material or substance was also on the door. That was something we were going to take care of. As the week progressed, more and more things started getting done. So like I said, the contractor, friend of the family, he was going to put the faucet in for us. He was going to do the electric work. And I was going to clean up the backyard of all the concrete, cement, whatever was back there. So at this point, the only thing that we have left to do is clean up, paint the ceiling, like touch it up with the paint, and clean the bathroom and the floor of the paint. Like that's really mostly it that I can think of. The other large issue that we have, or it could be large, I'm not sure. This drywall wall downstairs, I'll show a video of that too. It has mold on it. And we haven't really figured out the best way to tackle it. Different suggestions have been knock it down, put up a new drywall there, just paint it and leave it like that. I had a conversation with my uncle today, and he said to use something called Kilz, Kilz. Something from Home Depot, I think, or Lowe's, that you can spray it on the wall, and it kind of looks like paint, but it also kills the bacteria and the mold and the mildew. So he was saying that if we use that, we don't really have to paint over it, because it's a basement wall that nobody really is looking at for cosmetics. You know, it doesn't have that kind of value to it. It's just a wall. So he said we could just spray that on there. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna look into doing that. So on Saturday we're going down there, unless those things get done before we get there. But like I said, the house is, I believe that we can have the house listed next week. So shout out to Maxine. Oh, bro, before I even continue, because Maxine, the GOAT, okay? She saw the last podcast, was like, listen, I'm not gonna have that down bad like this. Like which I got you, right? She sent us $500. So shout out to her, because we're gonna use that for food and groceries. Melissa actually went today to get shopping. We got the cat litter, we got food, and we got gas for the car so far. So we still have money left over for that, and we're gonna use that to go into, I'll talk about later how we're gonna try and make some money going forward. But like I said, shout out to her. So I'll bring it up before that. What?
So say thank you.
Oh, so Melissa want to say thank you too. So okay, what I was gonna say was, she had commented, I think, on the last podcast, the one before that, and she had said something about like having the one of the videos say house finally listed. So I'm like, I think that's a great title for the video, and I'm hoping that the next podcast, not this one, so probably episode 122, that will be, we finally listed the house. Like the house is finally on the market for sale. Like we're hoping that could be our title, because I really believe that next week the house can be staged and ready to go. Like, I really, in my heart, I believe that. Everybody that has, I mean, yeah. I believe that. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I want. Is by next week the house could be staged and ready to go on the market. I had a lot of emotions this week. A lot of different emotions I've had this week. A lot of ups, and this is a crazy week. So the house is close to being done. Now, the convo with my contractor. Okay, I'm gonna touch on it briefly. And kind of just give my thoughts on that convo, because it probably happened like maybe Wednesday of last week, so maybe almost a week ago, right? Multiple people, a lot of people tell me I should black on my contractor, right? They say that I should fire him and that I should, press him more about the situation. And I agree that he has definitely had a very lackadaisical approach to the job for multiple reasons. One, my lack of experience. I also think that because he was not getting paid in a timely fashion, that leads to being de-incentivized to get the job done quicker. But with that being said, I still think that there should be more pressure on him, especially now that we paid. So at the time that we had this conversation, the HVAC was not done. And in my head, that was the biggest thing we needed to get done, because it cost so much money. It cost maybe like $6,000 or $8,000, something to that effect. And the problem was like, hey, we don't have that money from anywhere to get that done. Like, we don't have it in our back pocket. We don't have it in any account. We don't have it from the lender to give to us. So it comes down to, how can we get this thing done, right? Now, here's something that I guess I would say is part of my personality trait. I've said this before on a podcast a long time ago, probably not much recent. I don't think it has to come up as much, but my natural instinct is to cut people off. Like my natural, oh no, something's bothering my nose. My natural instinct is to just go, I just don't want to deal with this person anymore, right? So that will be in the category of firing him. But then I have to ask myself, okay, is firing him the best thing to do? Because if I were to fire him, which people have suggested multiple times, multiple people have said to fire him, we don't have the money to hire somebody else, right? So firing him is a black and white situation. We don't have the money to fire him and hire somebody else. So it's a black and white situation. We fire him or we don't fire him, right? From that perspective of other people. So I realize that it's more of a gray area. Is how much do I lean on him to get the thing done, as opposed to letting him go completely, or not doing anything at all, just letting him do whatever he wants. And it's a kind of a balancing act, or a dichotomy to be managed. My favorite phrase, a dichotomy to be managed, because it's like, okay, you have to lean some, but not too much. You don't want to not lean at all, because things won't get done. And that's kind of how I have to be approaching the situation. And I feel like we are at a point now where I have more weight to lean and ask for more things and push for more things based on our time and how much money we've already spent. So during that conversation, right, for me, this is one of my things that I always say is, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it like a weakness or a kryptonite. I guess I would say a soft spot. That's probably what I would say. I never want to appear to be a bully, right? That's not my intention. And it's odd, because if I'm talking in a regular tone, it's very common in my life people to say to me, Donovan, you sound so cold, and you sound so psychopathic, and you sound like you don't care about anybody or anything like that, right? You sound so rude. It's different things like that. And if I'm just talking in a regular tone, that's what happens. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not trying to give that off, then I need to make sure that I have this in check, because that's not what I'm trying to do. So I'm very conscious of situations like that. So I'm always like, okay, if I'm talking to somebody and then they feel defensive about something, I'm like, okay, why did they feel defensive? So I'm like, maybe I said something I wasn't trying to say, or maybe I, wasn't reading the situation properly. So during a convo with him, that came up where I'm like, listen, we need the house to get done. I need to know what day it's going to be finished. I need to know the times. You told me you were on vacation. I don't really care. It's not my business. I just need communication, right? Things like that. So throughout the conversation, maybe 1, 2, or 3 times, he made certain comments, which I found to be somewhat odd in the context of what we were talking about. I understand it from an overview, but on that level, it seems strange to me. One of the things he had said to me was, "You think you're a big man, huh?" Now, the reason why that's weird to me is because I'm not trying to I'm not even really trying to press you like that. Like, I'm trying to have an actual conversation about this is what I expect to be done. So now it's kind of getting into one of those type of pissing contests or quote alpha male situations. And I really don't like situations like that because to me, it all seems very fake, right? I really have an aversion for posturing. And I feel like situations like that are posturing because if I come to you and I say, hey, why is the roof not painted? And you go, oh, you think you're big and bad, huh? And it's kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, what? Like, I'm confused. That happened maybe 2 to 3 times during the phone call. And each time it happened, I'm just kind of like, what are you talking about? Like that, we're talking about A and you telling me about B. And what happens is it comes from, I believe, how they perceive what I'm saying or the energy they feel like I'm giving off to them. And I know that I'm not giving off that energy, like in terms of that's not my intention. And I know there's another level for me to go to. So that's not me like, okay, we going, this is what we about to do. So those things are odd to me when that happens. Now, in this conversation, right, I find it to be very ironic because as I've said on the podcast before, some of my background history comes from learning the art of pickup. And during that process, there was a lot of cold calling of girls, right? So whether it be on Tinder, I remember we used to have a little game with me and my friends. We would just call other girls and the other person's phone and pretend to be someone else and just try to, pillow talk on the phone and whatnot, right? But in that process, there would be situations where they called like shit test, right? And they kind of talk to you about how to handle shit tests. And as I was talking to him, I felt the same energy from me in those kind of situations. And what I mean by that is it was getting to a point where I felt like I was talking to the girls I was trying to have sex with when I was younger. So the same tone that I was having, and he was reciprocating the same energy that they would have. So it was very strange to me, right? Because as an adult, I'm 28. I don't know how old he is. I think he's older than me. For our conversation to revert to this immature, childlike discussion, it always throws me for a loop because I assume the person I'm talking to in a business setting is mature to be able to have an actual conversation like that. And it never ceases to surprise me how I think Joe Rogan said this before, that everybody's still a child. Like nobody ever really grows up. If it may be very, very few people actually ever become what people consider to be an adult. So when I have these convos and they revert back to that, I'm always just kind of shocked. So during that convo, it ended off by us coming to the conclusion that, okay, he's going to get the HVAC done. He's going to pay for it out of his own pocket. And I will give him what I can from the lender, whatever is left, and whatever we have left from the draw from the lender, we put on the back end of the house. So whenever we sell the house, that money will go to him, right? That's how we have it set up right now. So to me, that's the best case scenario. In that situation, the worst thing that could happen would be I pay him money, which is probably, I told him between $3,000 and $5,000. I pay him that, and then he decides to not work anymore. To me, that isn't that big of a problem because personally, I feel like We went there on Friday and on Sunday, and I feel like what's left in the house we can do ourselves. And I don't have a problem doing it myself because I just want the house to be done. I don't. If I put some work in myself to get it to the finish line, that's cool with me. It's a little bit harder to do when it's things that I have never done, like installing an electric panel or putting on a rain leader where I might need a ladder to get up on top of the roof, or maybe I could probably put a faucet in, but I definitely can't connect a garbage disposal. Like those things I can't do. So it's easier now where we are at. And HVAC, I could definitely not put in HVAC. Afford to do it or do it with the knowledge of know how to do it. So I'll go, okay, we're at a point now where I feel comfortable enough that I can get the job done myself with the help of my family, obviously, and friend. So that's where we're at with the house. All right. So like I said, I'm hoping episode 122 is we finally listed the house. I'm hoping that's what it says. And I guess if you have me on Instagram and Melissa on Instagram, we'll probably be going to the house this weekend for sure, and then next week. So hopefully that would be cool. If it's staged, we'll definitely have footage of it, like video of it staged on our Instagram. Like that's gonna be like, I'm gonna sit on the couch and I'm just sit on the couch for a minute and just be like, wow, this is amazing. So that's up there on the house. A little bit more house stuff, just things that I thought was strange. We were at the house and we met an electrician who was black. Okay, the only black guy we ever met at this whole situation, and he kind of put us on a game about the house. So he was telling us that a lot of the electric panel, if any of it at all, is not even finished. And he was saying, I don't even know how you passed inspection. I don't know why my nose is acting like this. I don't know how you pass inspection like this because this is not finished. And the only reason he figured that out, if people don't know about electricity and how it works, is a little quick 101 tip on it. Electricity, somewhat like water, is going to always go to or push through the weakest point, right? The path of least resistance. And for houses, that is the electric panel, the breaker. You ever see a little gray box where you switch the thing back and forth? If you ever have a situation where your house has like an overcurrent or something like that, and it's too high, the breaker will switch off automatically, the power gets shut off to it, and it just subsides, right? So he was trying to test something on the second floor, but he didn't want to go back downstairs to trip the breaker to flick it himself. So he was going to try and trip it from upstairs, right? He said it didn't happen. So that means that if the house had any type of electrical issue, there was no breakers put in place to stop the house from catching on fire, honestly. And we've been running electricity throughout the house for multiple different things. We don't have a meter in the house. We don't have we had a lot of things in the house. Like they've been using lights, either using tools and stuff like that. So at any point, if that had came in, if something bad had happened, there would have been no safety precautions for that. So he put us onto that. We got a dehumidifier, okay? And bruh, when I tell you we left it there on Sunday night at like 8 o'clock. By the next day, it was completely filled up. Like it was filled up to the brim. The agent was like, yeah, I got to pour this bucket out. She poured it out, putting it back on. The next day, electrician comes in. Y'all bucket is filled up again. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That's how much water is in the basement. According to the dehumidifier, it's like a 80 or 89% humidity in the basement. And we need to find a way to make sure that stuff gets pushed out of the house and kept on all day. The electrician told me something very interesting. He said that the contractor did not ask him to do certain things for the house. So he would say, for example, hey, can you come to the house and put on this outlet on the wall, or can you put this outlet cover on the wall? So he would come to the house and he said to me, like, I came in here and I just saw a lot of other things that weren't done that he didn't ask me to do. So now that kind of raises the question, why would he not ask you to do those things? He also told me that he is not the the electrician who put the stuff in the house. So someone else was at the house, wired the whole house, and they decided, I don't want to finish the house. Very similar, as y'all remember, with the ductwork. The guy was like, yo, I don't want to finish it, whatever the case might be. And my contractor was like, well, he don't want to finish it, and I got to pay because he don't want to finish it. So I'm not really sure why that's happening. I have a couple of theories. One is that he's not paying them. So he's asking them for work to do up front. They finish it and they go, hey, I did 80% of the work. Let me get the money. And he doesn't get paid them. And they go, you know what? Forget it. I'll just forget it, bro. I don't even want the money. Like, forget it. That's what I'm thinking. They'd be crazy if he put a lien on the house and we didn't even know. The contract. Like, if anybody put a lien on the house for work. So, like, we would pay him, right? And then there would be a lien on the house for work that was not paid for. So, that's interesting. But we already have the other liens there anyway. So either way, we will get paid first. So the last thing with the house is it being listed. Okay. So we don't have a solution for the water in the basement that we can afford to do. So we've been trying to figure out how we're going to go about taking care of this. Now, as I said earlier, we had different situations, different solutions. I was thinking about knocking the wall down. Melissa said keep it and paint over it. My uncle said spray that thing on it. So I said, you know what? I want to know how much this water issue will affect the value of the house. We figured, okay, the best solution is to talk to the agent to figure out what the value of the house would be, right? So we talked to one of them, one of the broker, and there's an agent under her, about how they've dealt with this in the past. The first one said it's not that big of an issue because she has seen it's very common for water to be in the basement of Philadelphia houses. And how she told us she would kind of sell it made me feel comfortable. The second one we talked to, I didn't feel the same way. She kind of was like, yeah, this is really bad. You know, people are going to really want a discount. And, you know, it's not really what are you guys going to do to fix it? And for me, I know that real estate, especially being an agent, comes down to how you sell something. So you can have the same problem with two different people, and how they sell it is who probably will get that deal. So the first person I talked to was kind of like, listen, we'll tell them that, hey, it's very common in Philly, and the water in the basement, this is what happens. And the rest of the house is so nice, you can use the basement as an elevator storage unit or elevator storage place, and you'll be fine, right? That sounds good to me. Like, okay, the rest of the house is very nice. It's up and coming. As an investment, I can make money from this going forward. If I want to get a loan on my house, I'm not going to be in the basement that much anyway. So why can't I, you know, I like that. That makes sense. The other person was more like, yeah, guys, I don't really know. It is going to be a problem with the basement and the people who are there. I don't really know. What are you guys going to do? It's going to absolutely take the value down of your house. And I'm like, if you are thinking like that right now, that means that you are not going to sell this house very well when it comes time to sell it. So that's something I had a problem with. Now, the last thing I wanted to do for this, I wanted to go over some comps in the area real quick. Shout out to my guy, Rick, in California. He found a comp out there. He's like, yo, I think your house looks really good. He sent me a comp and he was like, yo, your house looks way better than theirs. I'm like, yo, shout out to you, bro. We got 1527 North Newkirk. Okay. This is how it looks. It's actually on the market for rent for $2,200, which is super low. Let's see, when did they buy it? It was sold June 21st for $275, and they're renting it out. That's crazy. That means an investor bought it at $275. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. So that one is $275, 3.5, 1 bedroom. I'm sure you got the pictures, and y'all can see if it looks better than our house. Okay, going through this real quick. What kind of stairs they got? Old stairs. It's nice. Looks nice. I don't like how the kitchen and they had a satellite dish on the front. I don't like how it's different. The basement is finished. Interesting. I can't tell if this is like what this is. It's like a rental. I don't know what they did here. Maybe it's like a short-term rental. Okay, so that's one. There's 4 of them. The other one is $298. Okay, let's look at these pictures for this one. Oh yeah, if y'all listen to this, I apologize. Y'all probably can't see the video on the screen of the other houses. So this one is $298. I'll go through all these pictures. Y'all can see the pictures.
3 more minutes.
Okay. And the basement is unfinished in this one, and they got $298 for it. Okay. So now this is another one. Let's see, $305. Let me get closer. $305. $1,504 North 28th Street. Let's see what this one looks like. Looks nice. Looks nice. Nice pictures. Okay. I like the wall in the back. Our kitchen is better than theirs. Their basement looks to be somewhat finished. I don't know. Why does it look so long? What y'all thinking? Y'all liking their bathrooms, their bedrooms? So ours is not staged yet, so hopefully I can see that next week. And that's all, and that's their backyard. All right. Now the last thing I'm gonna do is show. I keep saying the last thing I'm gonna do. This should be the last thing I'm gonna do. I want to see the for sale. So any for sale in the last 6 months. Why does it only say? I feel like there's more things. Oh, let me zoom out. Okay, so right now for sale, there are 4 houses for sale in the area, right? 300K. It's been on the market for how many days? 60 days. This is their house. I'll show it like this. This is their pictures. If y'all want, y'all can pause it to look at the house. I don't want to spend too much time on this part specifically. And y'all could tell me which one y'all think y'all like the most. So this is $299. They had a price cut. It's been on the market for a little bit. Nobody's buying it. So now this one's $285, right? They had a 10K price cut. When did they do that price cut? That price cut was June 30th. Yeah. And I don't think an investor bought this. It seems like someone's already living in here. It seems like. So that's not a brand. It only has 2 beds. Let's see. Yeah, so ours would probably be at the top. It'd be one of the better houses in the area for sure. So like I said, y'all can tell me what y'all think. If y'all think we could get $295 and up. If you think we're gonna go down, if so, how much? All right, so that is the house update for y'all. Now, as far as getting money, okay, I was this close. My fingers are like super close together to making $28,000 on 4 wholesale deals. Okay, this close. Like, it was in my fingers. I was so happy. I felt like I might tear up. Like, I can't say a time I've been that happy that I felt like I was gonna tear up. Maybe the Airbnb, but I don't know if I was that happy yet, because I think I was just excited. But this was like, finally we caught a break. So I talked about this before, how there was a guy who had watched the podcast and he had got some land under contract in North Carolina. He lives in Arizona. So he was like, hey, if you know anybody out there, we could do like a JV deal and 50-50 split. If y'all don't know what this is, it's called wholesaling. How it works is, I see a house that somebody has. I say, hey, can I buy it from you at $300,000? They go, okay, sure. I go to Tom down the street. I say, hey, Tom, do you want to buy this house for $350,000? Tom goes, sure. It's a good deal. I keep $50,000. Tom gets for $350,000. The other guy gets $300,000. I keep the money in the middle, obviously, right? That's the basic level of wholesaling. So he bought this house to me, bought his land to me, and I said, okay, you know what? I think I have some family down there. Let me call up and see if we can set something up. The family member I called was very slow to get back to me. We had talked. He kept telling me he was going to go to the property and look at it. He said he was going to buy it. He just never got out there, never looked at it, and he wasn't responding to me. I would call, no answer. I would text, no answer. I would have to wait a day or two to get a response back. So I was kind of like, you know what? It seemed like it's probably dead. I'm not really sure what else to do with it. I was going to just throw it to him. It didn't really work out like that. So last week he texted me and says, hey, my son does wholesaling. He said he's currently not the son, the father. Like, hey, I'm busy right now building 5 different new construction homes. I said, okay. I call his son. His son and I talked for a little bit. He said, all right, I'm gonna ask around if I have any buyers that want to buy that. I said, okay, cool. So he hits me back and he's like, yo, I got somebody. I got a buyer who wants to buy all 4 plots of land. And here's the numbers for the land deal. Okay. It would be the guy who has it under contract has it under contract for $28,000 each. Right. So that's 30 times 4. That's 120 minus 8. So that's what, 112. So I said, okay, cool. I brought it to the buyer. I said, hey, I got this land for $42K each. He said, cool. He brought it to his man, told his man's $45K each. So he would make $3K per deal, which would be $12K for him. Me and the other guy would make $14. We would split it down the middle each. So it would be $7K per each plot of land. That would be $28,000 for each plot of land. And I was just like, yo, this is going to be amazing. Like, he already has a buyer, wants to close in 2 weeks. When I tell you, I was so excited. I was like, yo, this is so crazy. Like, we really, like, we got to have income. Like, this is a large sum of money that we need of all times right now. I'm like, this is insane. So now, as any bamboo project effect would go, the guy who has a property in the contract is not responding to the emails. And I'm like, yo, bro, I'm like, we have a buyer. Like, what's going on? He wants to ask these questions about the land. I'm not getting no response back. And I'm just kind of like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm thinking, okay. The guy I talked to, my family member in North Carolina, is like, yo, what you want to do? I'm like, listen, I'm going to give him 2 more days. And if not, I'll call the buyer and see if he still has it on the contract or not. Right. My plan was this. If I wholesale it, I'll put that 50K, no, not the 50K, that 50% in an escrow account. Whenever the guy comes back, I'm like, bro, here's your money, because all I want is enough money for me to get out the situation that we're in. And like, you brought this 50% deal to me, have your 50%. I'm like, I would rather one of us close the deal than I'd rather me close the deal and save the money for you than none of us get the deal at all and we just lose out on it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give him some time to respond to the email. We'll see what happens. So day goes by, no response. Another day goes by, no response. Another day goes by, no response. I'm like, this is $28,000. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So now, in the middle of the night, it might have been in the morning time, Melissa's like, he responded. Now I'm sleeping. It's definitely the middle of the night. I'm sleeping, and I'm like, who responded? I'm like, what? Who was it? She was like, the guy responded. I'm like, oh my God, yes. So I check it, and the question that the guy who I was wholesaling it to or with on the second side, which would be the family member of mine, he had asked me, do you know if this property has access to water and sewer? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask him. So I asked him that on like Thursday, no response. I finally hear him back from on Monday, and that's when Melissa tells me he responded. He responds, says, yes, it has access. He said the seller indicated to me that it has access to sewer and water. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we gonna fucking do it. And we about to close $28K. Like, we about to really have $28,000. We have a buyer. He's already ready to close in 14 days. We have a good deal. We have the contract signed. I'm like, we're ready to go. Like, we don't need nothing. Like, we are ready to go. So I'm like super stoked, super ecstatic. Like, oh my God, we can finally like take a breath, like breathe. We can finally sit down and go, right? So I text back the guy, say, yo, he said that my family member in North Carolina, I tell him, I say, yo, the other wholesaler told me that the land has sewer and water. He writes me back and goes, yeah, the buyer told me he checked and it doesn't. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. And I wasn't too surprised, because I feel like that isn't a question that the first guy who had the property in the contract would tell me. Like, not tell me, but I don't think he knew to ask that question. So I think that he kind of assumed that it did, but didn't double check it with anybody. So I'm like, all right. So now I go and do my own due diligence to try and figure out, does it have access to city water and sewer? And of course, in the bamboo project function, it does not. So I'm like, okay, that isn't the end of it. Let's see, there got to be some kind of solutions for this. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe they can install it. Like, how hard is it going to have them just connect the pipe? I'm like, maybe it's not that expensive. We're making like $20K each for the property. Maybe it's enough for us to get that stuff done. So come to find out, these particular plots of land, which are also around other houses, are on plots of land that do not have a pipe that can reach. There is no main line for them to attach to. So there is no way for them to get access to city water and city sewer. It's not happening, right? And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you cannot be serious. Like, what do you mean there's no way to get it? I'm like, bruh, it's right. I'm like, I could taste it. It's the 20. It's right in front of us. I've never been this close to closing a deal ever. Like, it's in my hand. So like I said, I was so excited for it. So happy. And that slowly is going down. I'm like, okay, reality is setting in. I'm like, okay, we have to work some more, see what we could do. So here's what we found out. If we want to close that deal, we would have to get a well built on the land. Each plot is 4 different plots, and they would also have to have a septic system. Each one of those things runs about 8 to 12K each, right? So that would more or less be our entire budget right there. For everything that we would make on the wholesale side is pretty much gone. And I'm just like, wow. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, what are the odds of that, right? So now I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm calling people. I'm calling well companies. I'm calling 311. I'm calling the city municipality. I'm calling everybody, trying to figure out how can I get access to this over here at a cheaper price. Can't even find no answers. So can't even find nothing, honestly. So here's what we settled on, probably trying to do. Shout out to Tori. We talked about this, and I think that what we're going to try and do is maybe we could, if I could get the seller to come down in price, probably shave off some money from all 3 of our commission, then maybe we could possibly get something to work, right? So yeah. So that's where we're at right now. This comes down to negotiating and figuring this out. If we can solve the problem, we make money. If we don't solve the problem, we don't make any money. And this would be a $28,000 solution that we come up with. So we was right there. We was right at the cusp. So honestly, which is kind of funny, from that conversation, I was calling different well people, and one of the guys that actually runs some kind of company, I think he's like a labor contractor or something, where he says he delegates the other people to go out and work when they call him, right? So he was saying to me that he wants to be a bird dog for me. He didn't even know what wholesaling was. So I explained to him, like, I like the sound of that. He's like, listen, how do you get your leads? I'm like, honestly, mostly from YouTube right now. I don't really look anymore. That's how I found this one. He's like, listen, how about, he said, I'm out here in the field all the time. I got drywallers, I got well people, I got septic tank people, I got, plumbers, roofers, electricians, all types of stuff. He was like, listen, if they see a house and I send it to you, you talk to the guy, whoever owns it, can we set something up that way? I'm like, sure. He's like, all right, cool. So here's my email, my phone number. I'll be out here looking. If I see something, I'll send it to you, and we could just, work it out from there. So I just think it's funny because I did not call him for that. Like, I was not expecting that. And it's kind of leads to the fact that I know Melissa loves this, that we might move to North Carolina and become Carolinians. North Carolinians. I don't know what they call them down there. North Carolinians. So that would be, you said what? Melissa said she's not going to go. Melissa doesn't want to go to North Carolina. I think she loves North Carolina. You've never even been there. You might love it. What if there's more black people than Atlanta? What if they have more tech jobs?
We didn't even talk about that. So.
We didn't. What if we have more tech jobs? What if they have more film jobs? Film? No. Film for to be an artist and actor, entertainer jobs
in Atlanta?
Yes.
No.
So yeah, like I said, that's going on with him. Okay, so as y'all know, Oh, and actually, somebody else I wanted to talk, I guess, shout out on the podcast. I'm gonna make this promise, this promise, right? I'm gonna try to not say that we're poor. I don't know if I've been saying it. Maybe I did, but Love Leader said that she feels as though we shouldn't talk like that. Melissa has talked about this before in the past when she was reading a certain book. So I also agree, because I don't think we're poor. We are broke. So I told her I compromised with her. I said, listen, I will say that we are broke. I will not say we are poor, because people feel like poor is more of how you act. And I don't feel like we act poor. I think we definitely are broke and act broke. We do broke things, like stay at home and don't spend money because we don't have money to spend. Like, that's what we do. And we eat bread all the time. But I thought it was interesting because our accounts are negative, right? So we're not poor, we're just broke. So the Chase, I had like 4 Chase accounts for multiple businesses that I had, and I just kind of have them, but I don't really use them other than a situation like this. So my personal account is negative $190 and 59 cents. Now I think it's crazy because I think everybody talks about this. Charging me for being broke is the craziest business model I've ever heard in my life. Like, if I don't have money and you charge me more money, how do you expect me to pay the money that I don't have? Like, that business model is so crazy. Like, somebody sat down and said, hey, how do you make money? And someone answered and said, how about we charge people that have no money more money? That's what we are paying right now, overdraft fees. So I think they have like a limit of like 5. I think we probably had like 2 or 3. So the other business account is negative $28.89, right? Now we had a third business account, the Bamboo Project business account, which was negative $690, right? Now, the reason I say was is because they closed the account. And I've never had an account closed by a bank before. Is that true?
I have.
Maybe TD Bank back in the day, but I don't know if they closed my account. But I definitely had some problems with them way back. But yeah, so the Bamboo Project business account for Chase has been closed because of overdrafts. So that's where we at now. We are currently there. And then for future reference, I guess anybody, or when we watch a podcast in 2 years from now, we have in the Quickies account, which is another account that's safe from all charges and overdraft fees, is $1,013 in there, and that is going to be used to pay the contractor whatever's left, or to cover any expenses we need for the house. That's what we have. Melissa has like
$4.88.
Oh, damn. So yeah, $4.88. She went grocery shopping. So she has $4.88. So like I said, I always like to be as present as possible and like to tell our current situation, because I feel like I don't want to sugarcoat it, and I also don't want to what's the other word?
They make it seem better than it is.
That's sugarcoating. What's the one you said?
Glamorize.
No, that's sugarcoating. What's the opposite of that?
Over exaggerate.
What's like under, like more?
Make light of.
No, I won't say like demean, but something like that. Right, I guess. Maybe. Okay, I can't think of the word, but I don't want to make it sound like it's really bad, and I also don't want to make it sound like it's really good. I want to be as honest as possible. So however anybody hears it, to them, they may say it's really bad. Someone may say it's really good. Like somebody may see we have negative $80 and be like, well, damn, my account's negative $100,000. Like, okay, to them, we're fine. Somebody else may say, oh, you guys have negative accounts. That's crazy. Y'all in a bad situation. So I always try to be in the middle and present and say exactly what's happening. So that's how much money we have that I could think of, and maybe I have another account like $100 in it. That's where we're at.
No, I have $4.88.
Oh,
that's my net worth. No. I lied. My net worth is like negative.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how much I have in my.
How much cash you have in your account? Okay. Because we are broke and not poor, Melissa has found a job that she wants to pursue.
Okay.
See how I did that? That was cute, right? That's cute. So it's in a tech space, right? And listen. I got a guy in Atlanta. All right. He's working from home, making 6 figures from his house, doing like in a tech space to some degree. I think he does like onboarding or
It's like kind of like HR.
like it's like HR. I feel like he helps with like getting people to work there, picking people. That's HR.
Like, because HR is human resources, so like that's still human interaction.
I thought HR was only for like if you assault somebody sexually and then.
No, typically a hiring team. I mean, yeah, hiring team. That's probably what he's on, but typically that's a facet of.
So Melissa is going to take up UX and UI. I was going to call it user experience, but UX stands for user experience.
I never said UI.
Oh, she don't like UIs. Excuse me. And that's you only put UX on the screen. So she wants to take up UX. If you don't know what UX is, it stands for user experience, and it's pretty much how you interact with the website that you are on.
And it's also product development.
I don't know what that means. What is product development? Product development for like
making candles.
That's not. How's the user experience? That's not what you're going in for.
It's product testing.
No, Melissa.
No, because it's different mediums.
What are you saying right now? How are you gonna get a tech job and user experience and you gonna make a candle? How that work?
I'm saying that as an example.
It's not. How's that example? How is product design is like Tinder is a product,
right?
Not a candle. Like not a physical. Like that's the product. Is the website is the product.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm like, you don't get to like make that with your hands. That's not how that works. What, you don't like that?
Yeah, it's still fine.
Okay.
It's like fixing my website.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. It's like moving this around. So
when I saw a product, I guess I thought,
physical.
Yeah.
Digital product.
I mean, I know both. I thought that because I don't want to make it seem like I didn't know that.
Okay.
I just thought that physical products could possibly be a part of it. That's it. So like a Nest, or like, does that make sense?
Like a Nest.
Like Alexa, or like.
But what would you design? Like what experience would you have?
Right. So it would be kind of like an example would be like if the cord is too short on Nest or something like that. Or like, let's say, you know how they have some devices that you can't plug out the cord, it's just connected to it. It would be like stuff like that. Like I would be like, oh, this is annoying, I don't like this. But I haven't started yet, so I don't know if it's a part of it or not. I just assume that it could possibly be physical products as well.
That sounds like engineering.
Everything.
Anyways, so that is what Melissa is going to be getting into. Do you want to talk about it at all? You want to add some words to your user experience or your UX endeavors? And why you would like to get into this?
Oh, well, right now we're at a point where the house, could be done and sold within the next 2 months, hopefully. Because I feel like we could start the timer once it's staged and people have started looking at it. So hopefully within the next 2 months, I feel like that's a reasonable amount of time. So for me personally, I'm like, we're going to have to figure out what to do for money for the next 2 months. The problem with the candles is that it needs money to make money. So since we're not really in a position where we have money to put into the candles, it won't sustain itself, because no matter how much money that we make at a craft fair, if we make $1,000, $2,000, in order to keep it going, we have to take some of that money out and reinvest it back into the candles. So I don't think that's a solid fix for that. And so I decided that I want to get a job. A remote job, because I don't want to go into work. Where they have remote jobs is hiring all the time in tech. I was looking for free courses. I found one. I was looking at the different possible jobs. I saw UX design, and the reason why I chose it is because I like to make things, and a part of making things is troubleshooting and kind of refining what it is that you've made. So I feel like I have experience in either making things, troubleshooting things, whatever, and kind of, I think I would enjoy it. And I think that, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I'm going to toot it because I think that my design choices and stuff be looking nice, and I feel like from what I've seen from other UX candidates, I think that I can stand out from how I would design my portfolio and so on and so forth, and I don't think it's going to be too hard to get a job. We'll see. Fingers crossed. And I like learning new things, so I'm kind of excited. I know some people might be like, what happened to the appraiser? We're not in Georgia. That's what I got my license for, so I can't really.
That's true.
That. What else? Yeah. Any thoughts?
No. I say this all the time to Melissa. I'm like, whatever you want to do, I'm gonna support it as long as you do it. So that's how I look at it. If you want to do anything, I'm gonna support it, as long as you take it seriously.
Yeah. Another thing too, some people might ask, what happened to the film stuff? I hate it.
That's funny. You used to like it.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? I hate it.
Why do you hate it?
Long hours, 12 hours, like plus sometimes 12 hours plus, and it's not really consistent. And then if I make it consistent, that's even worse, because that means I'm gonna have to go in 5 times a day for the week for doing 12 plus hour days.
That sounds familiar.
I'm not doing that shit. I refuse. And a lot of it, it's very draining. Like I cannot live that life. Maybe if it was 8 hours, and maybe if we close at a certain time, but that's not how it works.
Right.
So I'm not doing that. Refuse.
Yeah. Something else too, I think is I wanted to bring up as far as us being broke. I personally, I forgot who was commenting. Let me check. I was considering going back to DoorDash and Uber. The reason being is that I totally despise jobs, especially with somebody over me. Like, I despise them so much. The environment of jobs, I despise. The idea of jobs, I despise. Everything about it, I despise. Like, the only thing that would be somewhat good is the consistent money. And to me, I don't think it's worth everything else. Now, with that being said, I would get a regular job if it paid a large amount of money and I got to work from home. Because here's the thing. If you said, Donovan, do you want to make $1,000 a week and work from 9 to 5 every day? Or do you want to make $500 a week and work whenever you want? I would take the $500 a week, because one of the most valuable things to me is freedom. That is like on the top of my list of things that I want. And I despise the fact of even getting to the job. I got to get on the train to go to the job, and then I got to sit with people on the train. I got to deal with the train being late, the bus being late, people doing whatever. I get to the job. You have the weirdo at the job who's trying to get higher up so he can throw you under the bus. You got the other people who are just kind of weird. You have the manager that's trying to, swing his dick around, or their labia, whichever one comes first. And it's just kind of like, me personally, I don't do well in that environment, because if you are above me in position at a job and I feel like you are incompetent, it'll show. Like, I can't stop it from showing. And when I say I can't stop it, I mean, I don't even know what's happening, because people come to me and be like, they just have an issue with me from that perspective. So I don't like that environment. That environment's not good for me. Then I will come home. I will be emotionally drained from being at that place. I will come home and I will not be able to get anything else done. And to me, my life does not work for that, because now, let's say now the podcast won't be getting shot when it's supposed to get shot. Going to the gym will have to be on the time schedule of whenever I go to work. Going to Philadelphia, I might not be able to just be like, you know what, I'm leaving, I'm going to Philadelphia. If I got to be out there 2 days, 3 days in a row back to back, I can't do that. So I would much rather make less money and have my freedom than make more money and be, enslaved to do whatever they tell me to do. I just don't do that. I don't like that. Now, like I said, if it was a situation where I was at home and they were paying me like $2,000 to $3,000 a week, now I would consider it for like a couple of months, maybe like 2 months, 3 months, until the house is finished, and then I might probably leave. Maybe a month or two after that too, but that's it. That would be it. And even then, it just sounds dreadful thinking about it, because I'm just like, they're gonna call me, Donovan, why are you not doing this? Donovan, leave me alone. So So there's that. Now, like I said, I would do DoorDash and Turo because not Turo, DoorDash and Uber, the food one, because I can just go out, make the money to pay the bills we have, and then go on from there and just keep it pushing. I could probably pay the overdraft fees that we have. I could probably pay off the what are they called? I could pay off our tickets and things like that, and that could be good. So I'm more likely to lean towards that. Anything you want to say?
If you guys met Donovan's parents, you would kind of understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know what's crazy? That makes a lot of sense. Because I mean, my mom works more, but she doesn't really. Yeah, that's crazy.
Even with her working, she works kind of like me.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm just more job. It's the opposite adverse. Like attractive.
You have a proclivity?
Sure. Right? As opposed to
affinity. You have an affinity.
Yeah. I'm more likely to get into that space because money is more important to me. And I feel like
Than freedom?
Yeah. Yeah. You can pay me for my freedom. You might be able to.
There's a certain amount? Okay.
But like I said, yeah, money is more important. So, and who knows? I'll probably get the job and be like, damn, I want my freedom back, like I did with film. So that's why I said it's a back and forth. I feel like your mom is like that. Yeah,
I think it's funny because with my dad, I've only seen him have a regular job when I was a kid, when I was probably under 10 years old, maybe even 7. And he was the manager or the boss at the job. So he would go in whenever he wanted to. He just do whatever he want throughout the day. He had the personal car in the house, just using it to drive around us to get whatever we're going to. So it's like, even with him, there was nobody I ever saw that was like, you got to be doing this, you got to be doing that, you can't be doing this. My mom, she'll leave a job if somebody says something crazy to her. So it's like, and I'm also not really around them like that. The only person that's like that is Neffy.
I was about to say, my mom, she's had her job from maybe a little bit after I was born, and she's been there since. So it's like but the thing is that I feel like I got from my mom, she will sell things or do things on the side to make money.
Yeah. So, episode playback. This is in regards to the candles. So, the candles are at the store right now flying solo. As far as I know, they have not sold at all. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, I think the problem is because there's no marketing material for them. So that is something we're going to get on top of, is trying to get more material for that. And at the end of this month, we will take the candles out of the store, because me personally, I think a better investment of the candles is to give them to influencers based off of a recommendation from someone else who actually sells a lot of candles. That's what he said we should do. And I think that at least if we give them away to someone, we know someone has it, as opposed to they're sitting inside of a store, no one gets to use them. So we think that the product is a good product, but people have to know about it. So that's kind of the hurdle we have with the candles. So we also have a craft fair coming up in a week or two, and we're gonna make some money from that, so that'll be good. And we also pay from YouTube in like a week or week and a half. What's today? 11th.
It should be like a day or two before.
Yeah, it's like a week and a half. So that's the candle update now.
Oh, and we're probably gonna be on Amazon this week.
Oh, this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it today.
So probably gonna be Amazon this week. It's an Amazon store. Being consistent. That was something I talked about last podcast, and I wanted to update you guys with my path or my journey to becoming more consistent. So got a little, I guess, anecdote from over the weekend. So I was going through it, right now my record I have on my phone is, I saved it. I will tell you right now what my record is for being consistent. For straightening up the kitchen, I have 9 days. For my beard, I have 10. For going to the gym, I have 9. For stretching, I have 9. And for finance, I have 8 days in a row, right? That I was able to do what I told myself I was going to do. And I was doing well. I was doing really good. Every day I was getting out and I was doing it, right? Now, I fell off, right? And it's so crazy to me because even in the last podcast, I talked about how it happens. You don't do it for one day, then you do it the next day, then you don't do it for 2 days, then you might do it again for 2 days, then you don't do it for 3 days, for 5 days, a week, and then next thing you know, you back off, right? And it's crazy to me because I know exactly when it happened, and I was having this huge internal struggle with myself, like huge internal struggle, and it was so, and I'm talking about like arguing with myself in my head on like to a point where I'm like, I feel like I'm like fighting myself physically inside of my body. So we had a really rough day on Friday when we were going to the house in Philadelphia, right? And we were just like, okay. We were out there for mad long. We got out there late. We were out there. Everything didn't even go the way we planned it to go. It was a stressful day. It was super stressful. We were getting back home at like 10, 11 o'clock, right? And the internal struggle I was having was this. This is my internal struggle. Should I eat Wendy's or not? Right? And I'm going to tell you. You'll probably think, oh, that's nothing. That's whatever. It's whatever. I'm going to tell you why it's crazy to me. Why this was I'm talking about for like 10 minutes in my head. I'm fighting myself about this. And I'm like, I want Wendy's so bad. I want it so bad. And I think, and I actually heard Sarah Alaba talk about this in her most recent video about getting breast reduction surgery, that she had a bad I guess perspective on food. I think that's how she phrased it. And for me, I think that how I view certain foods is as a reward, or as like a what would you call that? Like something to console me. So I don't want to call it a reward necessarily. It's something just like you're gonna be better, like a pat on the back, but not like a good pat on the back for doing something, but more like it'll get better, right? So we're on the way back, right? Melissa's driving, and I'm like, I feel like I want Wendy. Like, this is the time I will get Wendy. We had a long day. It's stressful. And I'm like, I really want to eat Wendy's, right? So after all our long trips, after all our heavy days, all our crazy days, when we get exhausted and whatever, we either get Papa John's or we get Wendy's. We haven't really done it much recently, but I know in the past, if I was exhausted at the end of the day, I would buy Papa John's for the house, right? So we get home, or on the way home, right? And I'm like, I know when I get home, because we're out all day, I didn't do my stretching. I didn't go to the gym because we went to the Philadelphia early, and I did not straighten up the kitchen really because we weren't really cooking. But it's still, if it's on there, I should be doing something for the kitchen. So I knew in myself that if I get Wendy's, I was not going to do any of the other things, right? Now, like I said, I wanted it so bad. Like, I'm talking about so bad. And I was getting mad at myself for wanting the Wendy's. That was the problem I was getting. I was like, I'm mad that I want it, even though I know if I get it, I'm not going to do what I wanted to do for the day, right? And this is, I'm talking to myself. This is the convo I'm having with myself. And I'm breaking it down. I'm like, you know what? If I eat the Wendy's, I will be fine afterwards. I'll do what I have to do at the end of the day. It's not a lot. I can still do some workout in the house, whatever, right? That's how I'm talking to myself. But deep down, I know that it's not going to happen. So I could literally feel the weakness in my resolve to not eat Wendy's, right? I could feel it. So I'm in the car, like, talking to myself crazy, like, Donovan, you fucking weak. You can't fucking not eat Wendy's. What's wrong with you, right? That's how I'm talking to myself. And I'm just like, that doesn't really feel right. Like, it didn't, that's what I'm saying, but it didn't feel accurate. So I'm just thinking, like, what is the problem? Like, what is my problem with this? And for me, I feel like what I tell myself in that situation, because I ended up getting a Wendy's, by the way. And exactly as I said, I got the Wendy's. I came home. I was tired. I didn't feel like eating it no more. I got that dopamine effect of, I did a thing. I got the dopamine without doing the thing I felt like would have rewarded me with dopamine, which would have been doing the things in my house. Now, something else, I don't know if other people feel like this. I think guys for sure understand what I'm talking about. I think all guys will know this feeling where you just have to be strong, even though other people get to be weak. Let's just call it like, let's just use that, or vulnerable, right? And it's a feeling of being hard. Like, it just feels like a hardening of your body, of your insides, where it's just like you have to just swallow everything down, keep everything down. You gotta just hold it in, and it's just like imagine, in my head, this is how I would compare it to. Imagine if you were standing outside, right, laying on your back, and someone gave you 100 pounds to hold. That's what I compare being a guy to. Right now, obviously, depending on how strong you are, that weight could change. But just imagine holding a weight for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And to me, being a guy is the last 20 minutes where you're like, I just want to let this go. Like, I don't want to hold this no more. I want to let it go. And your whole body is clenched up. You're tense. You're feeling. I guess I'm feeling it. This is how I'm feeling. And I'm like, I just want to let this go. And there's no reason to hold it up. Like, there's no, in terms of like physical reason, it's, you don't have to, you can put it up, you can put it down, or I can put it down, right? But the benefit I feel like I would get is a psychological benefit and a discipline benefit. And because I can't see it and measure it, it's hard for me to justify what I'm doing, because it's like, okay, I'm holding up this weight for what? No one sees me holding the weight up. It's only for me to hold it up, and it's only going to make me better, but I'm not going to see my muscles from it. I'm not going to really see much from it, especially not quickly, right? I think that's probably the problem too, is that it's a quick response. I think that's the issue. It's that it's a quick response that I would want. But I digress. So after getting to Wendy's, right, as I said, everything just went down. I didn't feel like doing this when I got home, and I felt like I was more upset with myself than I was with actually eating the Wendy's, whatever, because I knew I wasn't gonna do the thing, and I could have still done all the things. I just made the decision not to do it. So what I wrote down on my phone for me is that I'm not weak. I'm just lack a lot of discipline, because I have the strength to do it. I don't have the discipline to do it for long periods of time. So it was, like I said, for me, it was just really a tough situation with that. And as from that day, I've kind of been slipping off of what I had to do for the day. Now, I don't want to say it's exaggerating, because it's really not. It's a form of discipline. But like I said, that is kind of where I'm at with being consistent. And it's a battle. Like, that's kind of how I tell myself. It's like, it's not going to happen overnight, but I do feel like telling myself that's a cop out, because nothing is preventing me from doing the things other than myself. Like, it's not like someone else is stopping me from doing anything's really in the way. If I want to get up and do some push-ups, if I want to get up and do whatever, that's something that I have to just do. And it's really, and that's the hard part about it for me, is that it's so easy, but because I don't have a person making me do it, I just don't do it. And that comes from discipline. And I also think a couple of podcasts, maybe like 2 months ago, right, I remember saying, it was a crazy line that I said on the podcast. I was talking to Melissa, and it was just like, I don't want to take orders from anybody, even myself. And that was a crazy line to me. As it came out of my mouth, I was like, what does that even mean? Like, to not want to take orders from myself is even that's a crazy thing, because that says more about me than it does about anything else. It's like, okay, Donovan's brain will say, do these things, do these push-ups, do this, do your beard, go stretch. And I'd be like, don't tell me what to do. Don't talk to me like that. I'll do it if I want to. Now I don't feel like doing it because you told me to do it. And like, bro, you're talking to yourself. Nobody losing but me in this fight. So it's like, it's a crazy mental gymnastics for me. But like I said, I think it really just comes down to doing it over and over again, and maybe after enough times, the other voice will probably get smaller. I think that's probably what's happening too. I think the other voice has gotten so big because I have so much freedom to do whatever I want, that I have to now rein it in to be able to put that discipline towards different things. Oh, okay. This is the last episode play. Yeah, somewhat. Okay. Leslie Johnson was saying that, I think she said that we're rich or something like that. We have a lot of money. I think that's what she was saying. I'm not really sure how the comment was meant to be interpreted, but she did say something about a plan. She said that we just talk about having money without a plan of how to get it, something to that effect. So I want to try and map out our plan that we have. Okay, so I'm asking my girlfriend first, babe. What do you see the plan as being right now? How do you see the plan?
What you asking me questions for?
Because you part of the podcast.
What I see the plan?
Yeah. What is the plan?
Like, what you mean?
What is the plan?
Oh my gosh, we ain't got no plan.
So right there. That's how you feel. That's fine. I'm gonna tell mine after you tell yours.
No,
So she alive?
Yeah, she was sleeping at the plan. The way I see it, the plan is to sell the house. I'm trying to get this UX design. They suggested that you can get the course done in 6 months if you do it weekly, like how it says. I'm trying to see if I could get it done in 2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. My plan is to get the course done in 2 months. Hopefully to sell the house within that time period. I don't know if I said this. We might not, depending on, because of the water issues, we might not even get the amount from the house that we wanted for ourselves. Like, we will have enough to pay back everybody else who lent us money, 100% for sure. We just won't have enough money for ourselves, and that's also the other reason why I wanted to get this job, because I feel like it's going to be longer than, because I don't want people to think this is a quick fix for the house not being sold yet. It's really not. I'm kind of preparing for a longer term drought, in a sense. I know that we spoke before about possibly taking a year off of doing, not the podcast, but like certain things so that we can build skills, and I feel like this kind of falls into that. So I see kind of like hopefully, because it's like I really don't see a clear-cut plan necessarily, because I don't know, it's dependent on how much we personally get from the house. Because the protections that we have for ourselves is on a time constraint in terms of even living here. So it's just going to be a lot to manage if the time comes the house is sold and we don't get the money from it, because in that situation it's kind of like we're living here, they're going to kick us out eventually. It's just a matter of time. It's not really a matter of whether or not they'll kick us out. So whenever that happens, are we going to have money to pay for another place or like stuff like that? I have no clue. So after this whole UX job, because I ain't gonna get a job. After that, I don't know what's happening.
Okay, so this is my plan, how I see it. And I actually have something I want to post. I'll put a picture of it too. We took a test today. I guess I'll put the test in the link in the description, so you guys can take the test. So you guys can take the test also. And one of the things about the test for me is that I have a very helicopter view of things. So here's how I see it. We're gonna get money from the house, right? How much, I don't know. I'm thinking somewhere between 10 and 30,000 is what I think, right? That money will go to covering the car, like, so that the car doesn't get towed, right? I think from there, what I want to do is craft fairs. If we get closer to 10,000, I want to do craft fairs so that we have money to offset that, and we have money to get to Atlanta. If we don't have enough money from the house, right? If we have enough from the house, once it's sold, then we'll go to Atlanta. With the money that we made from the house, my goal is to put it, I don't know how much, put some of it to wholesale to get a deal to close to have money while Melissa is working. I also will be doing DoorDash during that time period and Uber, and it's about to get colder, so I might make more money doing that. Just enough money for us to get to Atlanta. We're also going to put out more YouTube videos. I have some Turo videos backed up that I've been working on, trying to get them out. I'm kind of like sketching it out or whatever in my head. So that'll kind of boost the YouTube revenue a little bit. So that's another thing we're going to be doing.
And And I also want to get the house video though.
And the old house videos that we have are going to come out too. So that'll also boost our revenue enough to have monthly income to be able to do certain things. And all of the plans that we have right now are just because I'm not thinking after this step. The step I'm trying to reach to right now is have a place to live where our bills are paid every single month. That's it. That is the only goal that I'm working towards. And then after that, we could work on expanding from there. So Leslie Johnson, the plan is to get enough money, whether it be from Melissa working, preferably not that, but from things that we can control ourselves. And we have a place to live where rent is paid every month. And we can build our creative businesses from there, whether it be what I want to do, which I haven't talked about yet, but wholesaling, Melissa's singing, the candles. And I guess, like I said, I'll say it now, but something I really want to do is going to be wholesaling for sure. Like I'm 100% going to be a forever person in wholesale. Like for the rest of my life, I will be in wholesaling. And just recently, I've been kind of over the last couple of weeks looking into this. I want to buy businesses because what I realized is that it's possible to buy a business that cash flows immediately. Now, my problem always been with houses that they don't cash flow a lot, which is the reason why I wanted to get a Airbnb, because I don't want to buy a house, spend $200K or $300K, and the house makes me $500 a month. Like that's insane to me. Like that is insane. Like that, it makes no sense. So I was listening to different podcasts and different interviews, and there are businesses that you can buy that for the same price as a house that can make you 5, 8, 12K a month, right? As long as you buy the business. Two stats she has said is Cody Sanchez. Shout out to her. She was saying that with a business, there are people who have a business that works and operates for 15, 20 plus years. They get old and they dissolve the business. They don't even sell it. They just dissolve it. So that's like you have a house and you're like, damn, I don't want to own it no more. I'm going to burn it. And I'm just going to leave. Like, that's the equivalent to that. Like, that's crazy. And honestly, it's even worse because even if you burn the house down, you still own the land. This is just like, no, I'm getting rid of I just want to give it. That would be the equivalent of you saying, it's not even equivalent to that. There's no equivalent to that. There's no equivalent to having a business and just disowning and dissolving it and be like, it's over. Everybody go home. I'm done doing this. I have enough money to survive. I'm good. But that is something that I want to get into, is buying businesses, flipping them, keeping them, growing what I want to do outside of just that, but using that to acquire the businesses. So wholesaling and that are my next main two drivers of what I want to do. So that's for y'all for Leslie Johnson, who asked what our plan is and how we're going to go about doing that. There are some topics of the day, but I'll touch on them next week. Yeah, a couple of topics I want to talk about next week is the Airbnb unique stays. I really feel like Airbnb is like on its, I don't want to say its last legs, but I think they're like floundering. What's the word? Is it floundering when you're about to drown? Like they're like on edge right now. I've seen people like Sean Radix is kind of like, this is kind of strange stuff going on right here. So I really think that Airbnb is going in the wrong direction. I also may have talked about this, my perception of lack of time and how it's affected me negatively, and capitalism. I don't know if I talked about it. I really feel like capitalism is a big problem because it promotes the exaggeration of any field that you're in. And it takes out of balance. So anything that's regular, let's say you want to drink water, capitalism makes you now drink 100 gallons of water. Like that's how capitalism works. It's crazy. Like you only need 1 gallon. No. We're going to sell you 100 gallons. And it's like, it's ridiculous. But, yeah, I think that wraps up for the podcast. We will be back here next Tuesday. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is Donovan Gray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. Okay. You know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2022. This is some kind of movie. Maybe it's a thriller. Maybe it's either a thriller or a horror film. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of the two. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Nothing much. So you said that the thing is defective?
The faucet itself is defective. Yeah.
Is he doing the sanding for the countertop?
The countertop was cleaned, sanded. First coat is done tomorrow evening. It will be sanded again, and the second coat will be done.
Okay, and the leader is still being installed today?
He said he was coming, but it's already started raining, so I don't know if he made. I don't think he made it in time because he didn't call me. But otherwise, he'd have the alarm off. I can ask him. It might have been that while the painter was there, and he just didn't let me know. But he said he would go today.
Okay, so then what other things are scheduled for this week, I guess? Because it sounds like most of the stuff is done other than HVAC. Are the holes in the bathroom fixed?
I'm gonna be there tomorrow when I'm picking up the faucets. The painter already fixed the hole by the kitchen. I think you can see it in the picture. If it's still open, then I'll mark it, and in the evening when he comes to finish the countertop, I'll let him fix the other holes in the walls, whatever touch-ups they have. I'll probably take some of the materials out of there. But schedule cleaning too, but like I said, I'm really tight there too. Like, I didn't calculate it right. I know the way it seems to you, but the market might have come to be a high price, but for the amount of time that I spend there and the projects that I have, like, I'm barely left with what I need. So right now, to spend that money out of my end, it's just nothing that's going to be left. So if you can, let's do the half of this. I'll have the machines installed.
Yeah, I don't have any money to send before the house is finished because the house was supposed to be done like what? 2 months ago, and a lot of that money is getting eaten up.
A bunch of the stuff that you had to deliver wasn't delivered either, and plans weren't approved. And we can go on and on and on. This is where we are right now. The house is in great shape. Missing 2-3 things. Everything is possible to be done this week, but I can't fund this project. You understand?
I don't understand.
I don't want you what to do.
Yeah, that part is what I don't understand. When you say you can't fund the project, I don't understand what that means.
Yes, if at this point this is over what I'm supposed to spend. Like, you didn't even send me this $400 of like, I don't know what do you expect me to do?
Okay, because this is part of the problem that I'm having. So one of the things is they're going on vacation. That I don't really care if you go on vacation, but there was no communication.
Who do you think you are to tell me if it's a problem for you or not?
What I'm telling you is that the reason
I don't need to hear that.
The reason why I'm telling you that it's a problem is because as far as people going to the house, there's no communication about that. So now you're telling me that one of the people
to put the system in and caused me tons of trouble, tons of calls. Employees don't even want to go near it because they think it's police is gonna come. This has caused me nothing but trouble.
But do you understand that nothing the house has been broken into 3 times? So what is supposed to happen after that?
Well, if you want it to work normally, you give me the code, and every time somebody goes there, it's taken care of. Right now, it's causing me nothing but headache. So this is also something that pushes you off of finishing it, you know?
I've asked multiple times if somebody's going to send me a text that somebody's going to the house.
Listen, if you think you'll get a daily, like on the minute, who's there, who's not? I'm not working like that. I'm sending people what needs to be done, and I'm counting on them to go and do it. They have the code. They are serious people. They work in different projects, and that's how I operate. I don't give a minute updates for every client. You think I would be able to work like that?
You can't tell me that they're all serious. You cannot tell me that they're all serious people.
Projects like that.
You cannot tell me they're all serious people when we've had really minor issues. I can name things like putting up a mirror that I didn't give a person. Why would someone install a mirror that was not given?
With the vanity. You left it in there, so he opens the box, he installs it. That's how it works.
But this is what I'm trying to explain to you.
You had it. You have no idea what you're buying.
I told you, if I tell you, hey, the mirrors are in your warehouse.
I understand that you have no experience whatsoever in this type of work.
This is what I'm trying to explain to you. If I tell you that whoever's managing this project, hey, the mirrors and everything is in the warehouse. Those are the mirrors you want installed. Then that means it's on you to communicate with the guy putting the stuff in the property. Like, hey, these are the mirrors I want to put inside.
There was a mirror in the package that you left. Just like you didn't know, and just like you asked me, what is this mirror? That's not the mirror I want. Do you understand? What are you even talking about?
What I'm talking about is that
you left it there.
The things that I leave at the warehouse
that was it.
Are supposed to be brought to the house. The reason I was bringing them to the warehouse in the first place is because
I'm not bringing anything to the house until the guy is there to install it, so that you don't lose it again in case somebody breaks in.
Right. So if you have a guy,
I didn't even have to do this.
So if you have a guy,
thank you for letting me keep the stuff in your storage.
If you have a guy that's going to the property, that means that you know
the door for you, sending people for you. You should be thankful to me instead of saying like you're not serious. I use my own space for you, to your benefit, and all you're saying is you're complaining about you have a problem with if I travel or not.
When I left the toilets in the house, they got stolen. The reason they got stolen is because when I told you,
got stolen is because you have no idea which neighborhood you're buying houses in, and you have no idea where you're operating, and you're not letting people know when things are going to be dropped off. And this is what they do over there. This is how there's crime every corner of this city. There's crime every corner and every day.
Thomas, do you know that I told you that the toilets are in the house?
What do I care that you told me that they were there?
So that means that if
for dropping off the toilets, they weren't able to install when you dropped them because there weren't floors, right? Or whatever it was.
There were floors. Everything was ready to be installed. Everything was ready to be installed in the house. Everything's ready to be installed in the house when I dropped it off. I'm just naming different things to you that have caused an issue. You're talking about you have these people who are working amazingly and that they're very serious. They've installed a window. They add all these extra boxes to the window. How does that happen?
Is it done right now the right way or
but
not?
It doesn't. That's after it had to be. But it had to be fixed after the problem
was done, and that somebody made a mistake doesn't make you a big man. It doesn't change anything.
No one's talking about being a big man.
Also, when there was a misunderstanding with the tile, I fixed it, and that was it. I didn't tell you I have to raise the price. I didn't tell you you have to come forward with me because I lost money with the bathroom. Nothing. I fixed it, and we move forward. Still, right now, I see that you're not going to send anything. I understand you have no money, and I'm supposed to be finishing and spending like money that I don't have to spend from your end on this project, hoping that when you sell it, I will get something out of it, which I don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I can't be hoping to get paid for the work. I spend hours on this.
Do you think this project has been almost a year and a half long?
Donovan.
Like, I don't think, because this is what I'm trying to explain to you.
The way you operate with the money is exactly what you receive. I never work like that. It doesn't happen. You wanted to change the way payments are made. You wanted to make the calls. This is how things are done. When money comes, things move. This is what it is.
That's what my issue is. You've had the money for almost 2 months now, and barely any
money. Donovan, right now, if I get the HVAC done, I'm barely even making money on this thing. You understand? Even right now, I'm just spending my time apparently for no reason because you're not gonna do anything.
What do you mean I'm not? What do you mean I'm not going to do anything? I don't know what you mean by that.
You just said I don't have any money to give until the house is sold. So I don't know what you expect me to do. Do you think I'm going to pay for it? I don't know what you want to do. You decided so far how you want to distribute the money for this project. Right now, it doesn't work for me because you say you have no money. So,
Yeah, okay, this is because this is nothing that confuses me. You said you've been doing this for several years, and you're not experienced with people working with draws for property.
not the way you've done it. No.
What do you? Something
I
gets
even agree to this.
something gets done, and then you get paid for the thing that gets done. The budget that you gave me was not a full budget for what was getting done for the house.
And you had no idea what you were getting into, apparently. Like, seriously.
I'm listening.
What do you mean you're listening?
You were talking.
You saw how much work was needed to be done to get this house finished. And it kept coming more and more and more and more, and I gave it the lowest prices I could, and now I'm left with barely anything. The house is 95% finished, and you say you have no money. How convenient. So, where does that supposed to put me in?
Because I don't think you're looking at it from my perspective. For one, when you tell me that you've been doing this for 10 or 15 years and you have not seen people who use draws where you get paid after work is done, that makes me think that
I've been doing this for my own company and my own properties. I showed you the results of these. I don't need to, like, the pictures speak for themselves. I don't understand.
I
don't know what like, say whatever you want, Don. I don't know. You want me to prove yourself how long you've been doing this? You want me to send you pictures? I don't know what you want to say by that.
What I'm explaining to you is that you are trying to make it seem as if you are not at fault at anything. My issue that I was bringing up originally
to get the HVAC in. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to make it seem any type of way.
Okay, so this is where I get confused at, because up to this point you've been paid about $120,000, right?
119 out of 130. You say you have no money. You expect me to wait till you sell it to get paid. It doesn't work like that.
So you're saying with $120,000 you could not finish up to? That's what you're trying to tell me. For the $120,000, that's not enough money to finish the house. That's what you're trying to explain to me right now. When originally the money was already given to you for the ductwork.
Nothing for my end. You understand? After all the time, all the employees, all the stuff that went up, all the prices that went up, everything that's going on, it means that I will be losing money for this project, and it's not going to happen. That's what it means. I'm trying to at least cover my ass. You know, that's what I gotta do. Because there's nothing almost left there, and you want me to now install these machines that's going to cost me another $8,000, and just what am I supposed to do? Take it out of my own money?
These things should have been, put in almost 2 months ago. That's my issue. So now I'm paying extra money for but that's not on me though, as I'm trying to explain to you. So now you're telling me that
you changed how everything was with the projects as far as the payments that we were supposed to do, and now this is where I am.
But that's my point. That how he works with you is not on me though.
He realized that the money I've asked for just barely cover the project. Because there's more and more and more and more and more, and this is how it goes, and the prices goes up, and it's just
right. And that's why the budget has doubled. And honestly, I've had to spend $150,000 on the things that you were not paying for, like the flooring and the cabinets. So I'm in it. You told me originally it would be 75. It went up. You said you could do it for 130. Said, okay, now we're over one. I've spent over 150 just on a renovation, not including the interest payments every single month and the little things. I'm not finished.
Okay.
The little things here and there that I'm paying for, whether we move the cabinet, okay, fine, I'll pay you for that. Something, the lock goes missing, I pay for that. Things get stolen, I gotta buy $500 worth of stuff. So you gotta look at it from my end when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put these things in the house because I want them to be installed the next day. They don't get installed and they get stolen. I don't say anything to you about it getting stolen. I'm like, okay, you know what? I will just repurchase it.
Something I've done.
If you are the person in charge of putting things in the house and I bring it to you so it can be put in, your guy should come to put it in. That's how I'm looking at it. If I drove from New York to Philadelphia to make sure it's in the house so it can be done as quickly as possible for you to have it put in. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do what I can do to help you by bringing it there as quickly as possible. And then now you're telling me that, okay, it's on me that it got stolen. Well, I put it there for you because here's the problem. Because here's what you need to understand. Because that same weekend I asked you multiple times, can I put it in your warehouse? You never responded to me. So now if I put it in my own warehouse, you are not able. So you're not listening to what they are not listening to what I'm telling you. I put it there because if you are supposed to have people going there, you haven't been listening as I've been talking this whole entire time. Every time I talk, you talk over me. So what I'm trying to explain to you is this. I have tried to ask you that same weekend, can I put these things in your warehouse because I didn't want it to get stolen? I put it in the house. As I'm talking, you're still talking. I'm still talking. This is the whole point of what I'm saying. I cannot say anything if you keep talking to me as I'm talking to you at the same time.
You're imagining that my whole war surrounds around 16th Street.
No. What I want.
You bought a property in Philadelphia.
This is what I want from you. No. This is what I want from you. I want communication. You're not listening to what I'm telling you. I am trying to tell you. You're not listening. This I'm trying to explain to you. Communication is what I'm talking about. The same thing with the last 2 weeks when you going on vacation. I don't care. You're a grown ass man. You want to go on vacation? I don't care. I'm not going to tell you not to go on vacation. But what I do expect to say, hey, the guy's going to be there at this time. He gets there. The plumber's supposed to be there. I did not hear anything from the plumber going to the house at all. You're telling me today now that the police came, that's why he didn't go to the house. Why am I hearing about this a week and a half later after it happened? So I don't even know what's going on. So if you want to,
I only heard about it now.
So, but that's what I'm trying to say. You should be double checking with your people that go there to let me know what's going on. I'm not there. That's what I hired you for, to say, hey, if this gets done, you tell me the plumber's going to be there on Friday. I'm like, okay, I'm going to believe you. I don't hear nothing from the plumber. I don't get a notification on my phone that somebody went to the house. Nothing's going on.
This guy's working. They don't have to worry about calling me to call you. This is not an owl service. I'm coming to work. If you want to put an alarm, put something that can tell you who it is, put something with a camera, put a ring system on that cancels it, do something that it goes directly to you. I'm not going to be like an owl forwarding a message every 5 seconds that somebody goes there. What world are you living in? Who works like that? What do you think I'm going to do? Have phone calls about the alarm every day for 20 times that I have to ask you to disarm it?
If you tell me you're making it seem as if it is a hard job for you to say someone's going to be there in 10 minutes. But then it's a communication problem. That is what the issue is. I'm asking for communication. The only reason that I'm asking for communication is because the house has been broken into 3 times and this project has been a year and a half over. The project has been 18 months for a single family 2-story house. They should not take 18 months. For the first 12 to 15 months, I don't say anything to you. If you say something's happening, I believe you. That is what it is. We're talking about the last 3 or 4 months. I'm like, hey, this should have been done by now. What's going on? Then we get robbed again. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I dropped it off to you. And this goes back to communication. When I was talking to you about the warehouse, if you don't want me to put things in your warehouse, that's fine. If you say, hey, you know what? That's not how I help you. That is fine. But you're not listening to what I'm. You're not listening. You are not listening to what I'm telling you. You're not listening. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not, because what I'm telling you is, if you said to me, I don't want to put things in my warehouse for whatever reason, I would say fine. I already have another. I already
have a warehouse. I offered it to you from the beginning with to help out.
Yes. So what I'm telling you is, if you feel uncomfortable when you're putting things in there, then you can say that to me.
I'm saying that it seems like you're not very appreciative of it.
How could you?
That's what I'm saying.
Why would I not? I don't know how you could even assume that I'm not appreciative of it.
All I hear is complaining. And then you're mentioning that you're using my warehouse that I've done as a favor, and you have something bad to say about it. I don't know how.
I have not. I didn't say anything bad about it. I have not said anything bad about the warehouse. What I'm saying is that, as far as communication goes, if things can't go in the warehouse for whatever reason, you can say that to me, because I already had to get a storage room because we had the refrigerator out there. I will put it in another storage room for whatever reason. But my thing is, communication is what my issue is. So if I put things if I take the toilets and put them inside of the house, and you say, hey, I'm not gonna have nobody install it there for 3 days, I will go, okay, I won't put it in there. But if I tell you, hey, I dropped them off at the house, and you don't communicate anything to me, I'm not gonna assume there's a problem. If you told me a guy's supposed to come deliver this stuff from Monday, and I bring it to you on Tuesday or Wednesday, and it never gets installed, now I'm like, okay, why is it not saying this to me?
Talk about delivering stuff and having me wait and bringing the guys back. Do you remember what you've done with the kitchen? Do you know how much issues this caused me and how much time I wasted on this? Because of how you bought a kitchen.
What time? What are you talking about?
What time?
And I had to pay extra for it. Did I pay extra for that?
You know how many times they had to return? You know that I ended up spending more money than you've paid for it? You know how many times I've had to go to Lowe's again and again and again for the stuff that wasn't there, that was missing? What are you talking about?
Okay.
You're trying to say that all
what things did you go to Lowe's for?
I'm not even going to make a list for you. I'm not going to keep talking about it.
But you brought it up.
Exactly what happened with the kitchen, because it's not the stuff is not there till this day.
It was in your warehouse.
Still no panels for the fridge. There was still no panel for the island. I had to go get it.
I put all of that stuff at your warehouse. Remember the cabinet handles that I dropped off at your warehouse with the mirrors and the lights and the faucets? Everything I took there. That had nothing to do with me.
Now, aren't they?
What?
They are in stock.
But that's irrelevant. What I'm saying is, I already brought it.
Everything is irrelevant.
If I already brought it to you and put it in your warehouse, and then you go and buy it from Lowe's, that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me.
But I still had to go buy a bunch of stuff.
But I already brought the stuff to you.
You brought some of it. You didn't bring all of it.
The only thing that may not have been brought would have been the side panels, because they don't sell those.
So how do you have it right now?
Because it's a different piece that had to be it had to be a different piece that was used for that. When I was at Lowe's, I was on the phone with you.
I would have said, find the piece that you can use for that, and let me know when you have it, so that I can call the guy back. Right? This is what a normal man would have done.
What are you talking about?
He wouldn't drive and spend his own time to get something that you didn't bring, that you didn't think ahead. How is this going to be done? It wasn't. This is,
well, I was on the phone with you when I was at Lowe's. I asked you, what do I need? I told you what they had. You said, that's good. And I brought that to your warehouse. So then for you,
I don't know. You can say whatever you want. I had to go and get it.
Yeah,
that's send me this $400.
This is what I'm talking about as far as the panels is concerned. Not for the refrigerator, for the island. I'm not talking about the refrigerator. I'm talking about the island. The corner panels that were for the island, they don't sell them. They don't sell those.
How do you want to move on? This is the question right now. All of this is past. I don't know. How do you want to move on?
I want the house to be finished. That all we have left is HVAC, right? Is that the only thing that's left in the house? I don't know what else is left there now, because, and like I said, even the thing with the rain and the gutter and the stuff is another issue. But what I want is the house to be completed.
Okay, and I told you what I need. So we'll go back to this point.
Okay, so are you saying you're not going to do anything else in the house?
I cannot spend my own money to finish your project. That's what I cannot do. At this point, I've spent the limit from what you have paid.
Okay, so you're saying that 120,000 is not enough. You need 100 and you said 11,000.
We have right now 119. That's what I've received from you, except for the 405 that you're not. You said you would send Tuesday, but you didn't, and you didn't say anything about it. Communication. I have to ask for this again and again and again, from going for you to get stuff that you didn't get.
So, right, my point is, you're saying you're not going to complete the house.
You see me working on it today. Just today, I've had how many guys there?
Yes,
but yet you're telling me you're not trying. I'm trying to finish it.
But the people that are there today should have been there the last 2 weeks.
To get this machine, because I can't take it out of my pocket. That's what I said. I didn't say I'm not finishing it. I'm saying I'm currently in a problem with it.
Yes, I don't think you understand how much of a problem we are in also. That's a we are paying so much money in interest every single month for this. And the things that were done today could have been done the last 2 weeks or the last month, and they weren't done. These things, each one of these things took 1 day to do, and they were not done for a month. It was the guy coming in today was quick. The concrete was quick. There's no reason it should have been 3 weeks or a month from the time we were paid last that this stuff was getting done now finally.
What do you want to do now?
Like I said, we can send money when the stuff, the HVAC, the systems is in and the appliances in.
How am I going to know you're going to send money? You're not sending me $400 for stuff I want to buy for you, but you agreed on the same moment that this is money that you're going to spend. What do you expect me to do?
Okay.
I don't get it.
At any point in this whole project, do you feel like I've been trying to steal money from you?
I've not felt like that.
Do you think I'm going to steal $400 from you?
I have reached the limit of this budget to do this, because I will be left with nothing compared to the work that was done. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right. We will also be left with nothing because the house is taking so long and costs so much. And you're still getting paid from it. Like, it's not like you're not going to get paid. The house was supposed to be sold last year. The interest rates already went up. So we're not even going to sell it for as much as we could before. So now we're going to probably lose money on the sale from having the budget go up an extra $80K almost. So that's where we're coming from on our end, where it's like, okay, we want the house to be done and sold, so we don't have to pay interest no more in this house. We don't have to worry about no more little tiny fixes of $1,000 here, $1,500 here, $1,000 here. But like, we just want the house to be sold and done. The people can't even come and stage it because there's stuff still in the living room. Can you guarantee that stuff can be done by the end of this week?
The HVAC could have been done tomorrow. I just can't spend the money out of my pocket.
What I'm asking this what okay. This I'm trying to figure out. If you spend your money to get this stuff done by the end of the week, can it be done? Can the stuff be done this week? The house could be finished by Saturday.
The HVAC could have been finished yesterday. Finished tomorrow. Not yesterday, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've had to cancel because I realized I'm out. Like, I can't spend this money. The concrete cost a lot of money. All the fixes, all this. I spent more than I've imagined on this place.
Like, we are both spent more than we imagined on this place. Trust me.
Exactly.
Right. So what I'm trying to figure out is how we can get out of this project and be over and done with the project. If you have to spend your money on the HVAC system, we have money to pay for that being put in as well as the appliances. That's what I'm saying when I said that when the house is finished, we can pay for that. The only remainder that may have to wait until the house is sold, maybe like $6,000, maybe something like that. Because once the HVAC is put in and once the appliances are put in, we have money to send from there.
When are the appliances being delivered?
The refrigerator is already in Philadelphia, and the range, whenever it's ready to be put in, we're gonna just purchase it and bring it with the refrigerator, whatever day that you guys have scheduled for that.
What day this week could it be there?
Like I said, whatever day it needs to be. Like I said, for us, it doesn't really matter. So the fridge is already in the storage place in Philadelphia. We would buy the stove from Lowe's while we're there and the microwave while we're already in Philadelphia. And we would bring all of it. Well, we would try and bring everything to the property. We would probably need help with the fridge, but we have to figure out a solution for that. But everything else we would bring straight directly to the house.
Okay, you can bring those items.
But okay, you said I could bring them, but and bring them to the house.
These are things that you put in place, except for the microwave, and they're done.
Right. My issue was just the stealing thing.
Right, but you have an alarm now.
So you're gonna have guys that are gonna put it in? Because we're gonna bring the microwave also.
Its place. The fridge and the stove are just things that you push into place. It's not something to be installed like.
But we have to carry the fridge up the stairs into the house. So I guess I could, that's what we'd have to do. So we have to.
If you need me to be there and help put a hand, I'll do it. I have no problem. I'm not trying to put to cause an issue for this to be finished. I would love for this place to be finished. When you say you're bringing the fridge, I'll make sure I have time and I'll come help you push it in for sure. Lift it in. And the stove. There's no problem.
All right, so I'll let you know what day we're going to be. I'll text you what day we're going to be out there. And then we'll just try and get it.
If I make a call right now and see what other day this week this HVAC can be installed, can you meet me that day? Because this is it. Like, well, tomorrow the countertop is being done, the appliances will be put in. I have to replace the faucet in the morning. If you didn't install the downspout, the rain leader, I'll get it tomorrow when I'm there with the faucet. And the list is finished. To finish painting the basement, the concrete is done, the facade is done. You're going to be left with removing stuff off the floor and having somebody to clean it up. That's what you're going to be left with. That's it.
All right, so then, like I said, you think they'll be there? So I'll just text you when I'm gonna be there for the fridge and stuff. You want to do it on the same day of the HVAC?
So I can ask them what other day they can do. But the question is, for that day that we're scheduling it, if we're finishing, for example, the rest of the list that you sent today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm finishing pretty much all of it tomorrow, right? And we have the appliances and the HVAC for, say, 3 days from now. Can you meet me that day when you bring the appliances and bring a check too?
Yeah, it's not going to be a big check though.
No, it's going to be the 6th, right?
It's maybe, because the thing that's going to happen is they're going to take interest out of the money they give me to pay you. So depending on what day it is specifically, may be the day that the interest comes out of the money that they are going to give me to fund the loan. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm just not sure where it leaves me. But...
So it'd probably be somewhere between 3 and 5.
If it's 5, then it makes it's okay. 3 is it's a little bit problematic. Can you get 5?
I can't promise 5.
And then what? So it's done, everything's finished, and then what?
I mean, like I said, we're 2 options. We could try and pay you, slowly, or you could take all the lump sum when the house is finished. Not finished, but sold.
Okay, we're just gonna have to get some paper that says that this is how it's gonna be done.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me.
Okay. All right.
So I'll talk to you later.
Okay.